Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis, and if you've seen anything animated on Disney, from Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, the Cartoon Network, then you've most likely seen the amazing work of our guest, Rafael Rosado, one of the most sought-out storyboard artists in the country, tonight on Whiskey Business. And welcome to Whiskey Business. Yes, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. This is what I do for a living. I'm in radio, I podcast, I write, I make films from time to time.
And you drink.
And I drink. Well, I didn't know that was actually supposed to be part of my job, but apparently
we're telling truths today.
But one of the truths is that when I was a young boy, and I think I may have mentioned it on the podcast before, I actually had the thought, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I thought I wanted to be a cartoonist. Because in the back of some magazine, let's say Boys Life.
Okay, Boys Life.
Or Popular Mechanics. One of those ancient magazines. There was like, if you can draw this turtle, you may have a career as a cartoonist or a professional artist. And I actually did a pretty good job of drawing the turtle and realized that was the only goddamn thing I could draw was to copy the turtle.
Was it Tippy Turtle?
It might have been Tippy Turtle. It might have been Tippy the Turtle. I just remember it was it wasn't really hard to draw, but, it was just one of those ways to send in and join some art school by mail and start on a career as an illustrator or an artist or a cartoonist. Well, obviously that didn't stick. And I realized that the extent of my talent in respects to art was limited. I still had...
It's limited at turtles?
Limited at turtles.
One turtle.
Yeah,
one turtle.
Then I always thought that maybe I could actually write the words of a cartoon strip and let somebody else do the artwork. But I never was able to partner up with the right person, and obviously those dreams were dashed, and here I am today. But why am I talking about animation and cartoons and art? Because our guest tonight on Whiskey Business, and I said it in the tease, I don't think that's too grand to say that you're one of the most sought out storyboard artists in the country, given your work. Rafael Rosado is with us finally. We've tried to book him on the podcast 2 or 3 different times, scheduling conflicts. But seriously, people, if you watch anything on any of the networks, be it from Disney, like I said, Universal, most recently for me, and I'm sorry that they've come to an end, the Mike Tyson Mysteries. On the Cartoon Network.
I love that
story. They might bring it back.
They might bring it back.
Yeah.
And in his spare time, this. A book, not one. There's 3 now. We'll talk about this a little bit as well. This is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Also, I mean, it's beautiful, and it's.
Oh, that's my baby.
Wow.
That's my real baby.
That's your real baby.
Yeah.
This is the baby. We'll talk about your baby.
What's it called?
Giants Beware.
Love it.
And then there's Monsters Beware, and there's Dragons Beware, and I heard that the next one is Trumpers Beware. is the next one in the series.
We're working on a different one, a young adult graphic novel, but I can tell you more about it later.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it all, but we're excited. Our guest bottle tonight, before Hansberry does a little bit of the business and we dig in a little deeper with Rafael, is you guys have never had this before. I've been sipping at it throughout the pandemic.
It's good.
This is Jack Daniel's Rested Tennessee Rye Whiskey. This was their second attempt, I believe, at putting out a rye whiskey.
What does rested mean?
Rested? Just what it means. It's just rested. It's just rested rye. It's just sitting around.
Is it like
around for
with
2
the
years.
tequila reposado or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
Reposado? I don't know.
know.
I didn't
what it
realize it
means.
was. I didn't realize it was rye, and I tasted. I go, what is this? It's really good.
So you like it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I didn't expect it. I was expecting something
Okay,
sweet,
because this one is a little sweet,
but it's a little funkier too.
And what Jack Daniel's did is they wanted to, this was the first time they came out with a new mash bill of any sort for their rye. They could have gone someplace else and brought something in and called it Jack Daniel's rye, but no, they went there, and it's young. It's 2 years old. Now, since then, the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye has eclipsed it and made it much. They made it much better. But that one came out with mixed reviews. Nobody hated it.
2013, it says.
Nobody hated it, but not everybody was. Nobody went bonkers over it either. I like it, and it's only 80 proof, so, some of the whiskeys that we've had on the
is
show.
Jack Daniel's known now for like more refined kind of?
They still make the Jack Daniels. See, to me that's pretty smooth for a little.
It's really
year.
good.
It's only 80
It's only 80
proof.
proof, though.
It's sweet. It's got a little bit of a little pipe tobacco-y, taste
It's
to
very,
it.
it's very spicy.
No, I don't think it's very spicy. You
Oh,
think
I
it's very
see.
spicy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some more.
The spice character.
You can have as much as you want.
Yeah.
But I like it, and I like the fact that they went into the world of ryes as well, doing what they do. So you can just help yourself.
I think that because it's a 2-year, maybe that's why I'm getting a little more of that spice level.
You know, a little spice and
I mean, it's
little,
not,
little citrusy a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Citrusy.
Yeah.
It's very good. Very good.
But yeah.
Can you still buy this, or is it done? Is it?
I'm sure you could find it somewhere,
but
maybe. But
no.
at the time, it was I think it was a limited release. They only had so much of it. But like I said, they moved on to now their single barrel ryes, and they're really refining.
This is batch number 2.
The art of rye. Yeah.
So do you guys drink bourbon every day? Just about? You think?
That's my everyday drink.
We've had some scotches.
I mean, it's your business
on the
after
show. We've had some scotches on the show, but not too much. And ryes and bourbons and scotches. We want to get more. We're going to try more scotches, I think, this year, and more scotches this year. And also, my daughter's boyfriend over the holidays. We've never gone into the Japanese.
I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, there's a Japanese.
I'm worried
whiskey
that
up
I'm going
there.
to like it, and then I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
God, now
It's
I'm
up
gonna
there
have
on
to get
the
into Japanese stuff.
in the Tower of Power that you can't see from this angle, but it's up there towards the top behind the Elmer T. Lee.
Quick, John, do it. Cut away.
Yeah, so it's up there.
Look that way.
Yeah. Hey, look, a squirrel. Yeah. So, and speaking of whiskey, let me get I'll start the business.
Okay,
if you
go
will.
ahead. Yeah.
We're very excited that the barrel selection we did for Watershed Distillery, which is right here in Columbus, Ohio, a whiskey business selection, is ready to be released. Later this month, we'll be doing another podcast with Greg Lemon and the folks there at Watershed to present this bottle, which will
pumped.
be available in the bottle shop at Watershed Distillery, and our logo will be on there along with everything from Watershed
That's
as well.
awesome. Well, and we were talking about it.
We're gonna make a
we
big
don't-
deal
well,
about
well,
it.
that, and we don't really remember what it tastes like.
Right. What are the tasting notes? What are the tasting notes?
We
I
tasted
remember,
so
excuse
many.
me,
Like it was,
we went through, I think 4 or 5. We tested 4 or 5 barrels. I remember it being really. It was
awesome.
It was good, but yeah, I got a phone call today about I need to get your tasting notes. I'm like,
tasting.
I don't remember.
So you guys got to pick?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so we got to actually select this particular barrel of Watershed whiskey, which is huge because
yeah.
Watershed is growing in leaps and bounds. And
Yeah.
the fact that there's an actual whiskey business selection, it's I don't know. I feel
It's
like
awesome.
I feel
It's
like we've
cool.
arrived.
It's cool.
Yeah.
On some level. So more details about that when we get closer to it. But in the middle of the month there in February should be about the time that we record something with the boys. Other business, we want to thank the Evergreen Podcast Network, of course, for being our podcast family and putting whiskey business out there to the Americas and anywhere else that people might be listening to our podcast.
The whole world, not just the Americas.
No, not just the Americas. But,
Yeah, Evergreen Podcasts.
2 people in Germany, I think.
Yeah,
Really?
1 in Australia, 4 in London. We're growing.
Nice. And probably some in Puerto Rico after this.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I got
We're
so many
growing.
questions for you. I got so many questions for you.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
a little bit of business.
Puerto
here.
Rican whiskey. I think you're
No such thing. But
exactly.
the best.
We got to tap
but
into the market.
The
It's not
best
there
rum
yet.
in the best rum in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Very
come on.
true. Very true. Whiskey Business, whiskeybusinesspod.com is our website. You can find all of our archives, including the episode Dino was talking about where we did the tasting with Watershed. It was kind of fun, and I'm actually gonna have to go back and watch it to remember what we actually picked out.
you get the tasting notes from that one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Duh.
the notes.
Go to the archives.
We're just gonna go watch it.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
you can barely read the notes. Probably.
Yeah. Here's our notes. It's just a bunch of scribbles. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. If you're listening and subscribing on your favorite podcasting app right now, make sure to check us out on YouTube. Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. John does a great job of posting these episodes unedited on YouTube and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Most times.
Most of the times I try to clean him up, and John keeps all the nonsense in. So be careful, Raphael. Any dumb stuff you do, I might try to clean up, but he's got you.
If you have any what we call podcast remorse, I think we're the ones that actually
I'll keep
coined
that
the
in
term.
mind. Well, let's see after so many of these.
Raphael's already on pour number 2.
I mean,
He's got to catch up.
it's whiskey business. I'm.
But that's about it. Thanks for subscribing, and word of mouth. Tell all your friends about it, and but yeah, stay tuned because hopefully we'll have some more info on that new bottle out.
We'll revisit the Rested Rye a little bit later in the show and see what you guys think after a few more sips. And I'm very pleased to have Rafael Rosado with us. Would you consider yourself to be all the above, or more specifically one of these? An animator, a storyboard artist, a writer, a director? What when people say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What do you tell them?
I say I'm a cartoonist.
A cartoonist.
Yeah, because I think that encompasses everything I do. And sometimes people think a cartoonist is just draw like caricatures or some ridiculous thing like
that's
that.
Funny you say that because I was like, we're interviewing this cartoonist, but I was like, but I'm sure he's like probably way more talented than like I thought that was like a not as fancy of a term.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
didn't give you as much credit.
And, doing caricatures, that's a whole skill unto itself that I don't have. I have a good friend in town that does caricatures at the.
Seriously, you couldn't do a caricature? You couldn't?
It's hard, man. It's really hard.
Somebody puts a gun to your head and says,
Well,
"I want a
I mean-
caricature." You can do it.
In that case, I'll
Make
get the
my
best
head bigger.
goddamn
Yeah.
caricature ever.
I
but-
want to be on a
something, yes.
skateboard.
Yeah, I want to be on. I want a big head.
No,
and
what
I
is-
want really small hands.
like I always, I've been trying to draw my family for years, my wife, and it just never looks right because it's all about the proportions and everything, every feature in your face, and you move things just slightly and it changes. But anyway, I tell her, I'm like, you're just too beautiful
Yeah,
for me.
there
I
you
just
go.
There
can't
you go.
capture you. I just can't capture you.
Wow, really? And she buys that?
It's true.
You get away with that? That's pretty good. You're more than a cartoonist if you can actually smooth that one over. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, growing up, I was always drawing cartoons from the get-go, even as a little kid. I mean, my parents actually kept these drawings I was doing when I was 3 and 4.
You were drawing back then?
Yeah.
Because that was one of my questions. When did you start, putting whatever you used at the time? A pencil, a pen, a crayon, a marker?
Well, so my dad's an artist. My
Really?
grandfather was an artist. My uncle. There's actually a bunch of artists in my dad's side of the family somehow. So it's in the genes.
It's in the genes for sure.
Yeah. And because he was an artist, well, he wasn't an artist for a living. I mean, he ended up working as an engineer at a refinery, and but he still did stuff on the side. But anyway, just having him for a father, that stuff was always encouraged, and I mean, how kids know that. I want to be a firefighter or policeman or whatever. I always knew that I wanted to be an artist since I was little, So there was never any question, that I was going to do something along those lines,
So a lot of stuff on the refrigerator at your house that you did?
No, more on the walls.
On
Actually.
the walls?
You drew on the walls?
Yeah. My parents actually, they let me, when I was about 10 or 11 or something, they let me have a wall in my room to make a mural.
That's tight.
Yeah, right? So I did a mural, and, my dad helped me out a little bit.
At TED?
Yeah.
You were able to conceive what you wanted on
well,
the
because I
mural?
always had these characters I was always drawing, so like these goofy superheroes and stuff. So I drew those characters. But then once it was finished, I just kept, I kept wanting to paint walls, So I started doing little paintings on the outside of the house, and when they caught me, they're like, "What the hell? We give you a whole wall? That's not enough. That's not enough for you." Oh, they were so pissed. But
That's awesome.
You started making art on the walls outside.
yeah,
the
I
house.
but I did them low enough that they wouldn't see them. But
They hit around
yeah,
a little bit.
I would hide them a little bit, but they found them.
What? Paper wasn't cutting it for you?
No, man. Once you get that taste of the mural,
Yeah.
yeah,
Got to go big, right?
you gotta go big.
Have you ever done like tagging? Like I'm amazed by those artists. Again, it's
Oh,
another
yeah.
talent level completely.
No, I mean I've done some, but not like on a train or
Right,
I mean,
boxcar.
yeah, on a boxcar. Yeah. That's a whole different deal.
Did you go? Did you study art as well? When you went to school? Did you go to school for this? Or
Yeah,
was it-
so I actually went to film school with this guy right here.
Yeah.
I know. I'll get to that too. You guys have a history of working together on
Yeah.
quite a few things.
Yeah.
But
But no, I started in fine arts at UC. But as a kid, I was always making animated films also. So I was doing the comic books, and then I was making doing animation. Like I watched an episode when I was a kid. There was an episode of Sesame Street that they had these kids doing stop motion like cutout animation, and my dad had a Super 8 camera, so I'm like, I want to do that. Can you help me out? He's like, yeah, I can help you out. So I still have the little film. I mean, there's all these.
Oh, cool.
There's like 3 or 4 different segments, So then I just kept doing that over the years. But I was never sure which way to go. So I did the 1 year of fine arts, and I took a film class over there. I'm like, I think I really just want to make films. So I transferred to Ohio State. But when I was here at Ohio State, I was still taking art classes, and there were a couple of animation classes at the department too. So I just make the best of it. But
what was your first big break?
let me think. I mean, I did some goofy stuff, like not so goofy, but so at the film
Was it
department.
actually goofy for Disney? Right.
No, I wish. No. But
You might have heard of him, Goofy.
at our film department, we were still shooting film, 60 millimeter, and they had a couple of old school animation stands, like 60 millimeter, with the camera up here and you shoot the artwork, and there was one camera that was computer assisted that a former student actually just set it up so you could run a computer. But this was so long ago that the programs were still on punch tape, and the computer it was the size of a refrigerator,
Oh my god.
So, and then eventually he switched it to a PC. But anyway, so I learned how to use that camera, and so I was always like doing different experiments on it. People wanted to, I was always filming like people's credit rolls and stuff, and helping some professors with, documentaries and stuff like that. Doing the Ken Burns thing,
Zooming in on a picture.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but then doing all that, I mean, how do you go from there to working on things like Life with Louie, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, Extreme Ghostbusters, The Batman, The Venture Brothers, Curious George,
Just to name a few.
just to name a few.
Well, okay, all right,
And
all right.
all of these, what's remarkable about all of these is that as far as the animation and the artwork go, they're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all different.
But you directed some of the Godzilla ones, didn't you?
I directed some of the Ghostbusters, Men in Black, some other stuff.
I mean, I could list,
Well,
I could talk for 5 minutes and just list your credits.
I mean,
Go ahead.
let's bore the audience. But so at the time, when I was in school, Jeff Smith, who does
Yeah.
Bone, local, legend.
Yeah,
this
kind of
point.
big in that world.
Yeah. So him and another guy, Jim Cameron, and Marty Fuller, who was another student at the film department, they started an animation studio, and it started just doing commercials, and eventually they moved into doing some TV work, like
Was it Hot Donut?
no, it was Character Builders,
Character Builders, yes. Okay.
which ended up becoming Hot Donut later on. Yeah, I'm glad you asked me to mention them. Character Builders.
Did you say hot donut?
That was the second one.
Okay.
But Character Builders, and they built quite a reputation, like in the country, so they ended up doing work for all the studios in LA. They actually worked on Space Jam. They did a lot of work on Space Jam. They went to LA to work on the storyboards, and then they had their own little animation unit here in Columbus for Space Jam.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, people don't know that, but I mean, you watch
And
the original Space Jam, and a huge part of that movie is Character Builders. Their work.
And that's who you got in with?
So I started working over there. I did an internship, and then I ended up working over there. And it was really cool because it was such a small place that you end up doing all these different jobs. When you work in animation, you do one job, because of the nature of the business and the assembly line sort of method. But over there, I started training as an animator. Worked first an assistant animator, then an animator. Then I was doing layouts and all, and then I ended up directing some commercials and stuff. But then eventually, we started getting work on all these different shows like Life with Louie. It was a show called Beethoven based on the movie from way back.
The big Saint Bernard dog.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
dog.
And Life with Louie was about Louis Anderson.
Louis, I remember all these.
Who's
This was like
recently
Yeah.
passed away.
And
mid '90s.
early to mid-90s.
Yeah, because I mean that's when I was like 10.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. So I was watching all of
Watching those shows.
Life with
Yeah,
Louie
yeah,
was
yeah.
hugely was a huge success. It was very popular.
And Bobby's World was
Bobby's
all,
World
yeah,
was at the same time.
Yeah.
So basically, that was my training ground, and you'd be amazed how many amazing people have come out of.
And you did all that from
Character
Columbus. Sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, their studio was in Worthington, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they had a little shop right there in their downtown Worthington, and then they moved up the street. They got a bigger space, and then another bigger space when they had the bigger jobs. But anyway, so Character Builders was sort of like and I mean, looking at it now, all the people that have come out of that place, it was like an incubator of like incredible talent. I mean, a couple of Pixar guys came from there, or Hot Donut, the place after Character Builders.
What is Hot Donut?
Okay, so
I've never heard Hot Donut. What is Hot Donut?
Years, many years after Character Builders were gone, and the studio split up. But one of the principals, Jim Cameron, opened up his own studio, and that's what he named it. I don't know. I think he liked Hot Donuts. I don't know. I've never found that. But anyway, so that was sort of like
So Hot Donut was an actual company,
it was an actual company. It was an actual studio that he
not
had.
an actual project that you
Yeah, no.
worked on together.
He had the coolest.
I gotta say, I'm a
studio.
little disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted a hot donut.
But man, he was leasing one of those big houses on Town Street across from like the Topiary Park.
Right?
That was the studio, man. It was really cool. But anyway, so that was another incubator of talent right there, Hot Donut. There's this guy Dan Scanlon, who's one of the big guys at Pixar now. He directed Monsters University and another movie. Anyway, a bunch of people have come out of those two studios, and I don't know. It's weird that people don't even realize that because it's not.
Yeah.
Okay,
not-
but so, an incubator full of talent, you yourself included, but you spent how many years in California, in Los Angeles? 5?
Oh yeah, it wasn't even that long.
Okay,
Or about
but
3.
how do you?
Oh, so
What was it that graduated you? What was it? Who said like, damn, come on?
well, so what happened was, I think we were working on Left with Louie or something, one of those. And there were a whole bunch of us working on all these different projects. And then, I don't remember exactly the circumstances, but Character Builders had to lay us off around Christmas, and I was like, damn it, this is bullshit, kind of, Christmas, So I always meant to make the move, but it just seemed like such a daunting, scary thing, But once that happened, I was like, you know what? If I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do it? So I actually called up the studio that was doing Left with Louie. I called the producer. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about moving out there, and I'm working on your show already. So would you hire me if I move out there? He's like, yeah, just come right out,
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So
It's that easy.
well, but that's it was a very special circumstance. The fact that I actually had a job going there, as opposed to most people that just show up in town and try to find.
Hi, the Dino Tripota story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move out to LA. You got a job? Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like waiting tables.
I'm gonna go to the comedy club and then we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't have a job. Well, actually, I did have a job, but that's another story.
But so that was that was kind of a lucky break, just having that set up already and not having to experience too much struggle. I mean, moving to a new town it's a struggle anyway. But
I'm not begrudging Columbus, but Columbus isn't Los Angeles. I mean, that's a whole different environment, a whole different vibe, a whole different way of life, depending on how you live life in LA. I was poor when I lived in Los Angeles, so I didn't get to experience it in the grand fashion. But you went out with a gig and a job, and it led to more jobs.
Well, it's funny because so a bunch of my buddies from OSU were there too. Already they moved out there, so I ended up making pretty decent coin, but my friends were still broke, and so it's kind of like, let's go out. All right, we can do this or that. But anyway, it was all good. But so I ended up at that studio. It was called Hyperion, and they also did a movie called Rover Dangerfield. It was an animated film based on
You worked on Rover Dangerfield?
Rover Dangerfield. Yeah, well, that was Character Builders. Character Builders worked on Rover
So
Dangerfield.
it was a dog version of Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah, I think he did the voice, right?
He did the voice, and it was like this dog that lived on a farm, and he looked
They
like
got no respect.
yeah. But he had the bug eyes. And
I vaguely remember.
It's a pretty funny movie from what I remember. But anyway, that same studio is the same studio that was doing Life with Louie and all this, Itsy Bitsy Spider and some other features.
It's available for $1.99 on Apple Plus.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, nice.
Wow. Who knew?
Yeah, there you go. I remember that. Yeah.
Well, look up. There's another movie that Character Builders worked on called Baby's Kids.
What is it
Oh, I
called?
remember that.
Baby's
When I was a
Baby's
kid.
Kids.
Yeah.
Baby's Kid. Didn't it become? Didn't they? Was it a movie or was that
It was
a
a
show?
movie,
Was
but
it?
it was
Like
based.
Bebe.
It was a comedian.
Bebe.
Baby's Kids. The comedian. I'm trying to remember what his name was, because it was kind of like based on his comedy.
Yeah.
Was it a black guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he died really young, like not that many years after the movie.
Don't know.
God, it's,
It's a shame on me. I come from the comedy background. I should know that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So Character Builders. Actually, I think that was the first big project I worked on when I went over there. So anyway, I ended up at this studio called Hyperion, which is no longer around, and so I was working on Left with Louie, and then I worked on some other stuff, and I don't know if it's that Midwest work ethic or whatever, but they noticed that I was like, I was just always busting my ass, and if they needed extra work, I would volunteer and all this stuff. And one of the producers took notice, and she's like, I have a friend at Warner Brothers that I want you to meet, because maybe he can get you over there. So
And then the ball starts rolling.
yeah, it just went from there.
Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal. Like I said, the list goes on and on. Cartoon Network. Who owns the Cartoon Network? Somebody owns that.
Well, that's Warner Brothers.
That's Warner Brothers. That's part of the they're part of the Cartoon Network.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so much stuff, and like I said, all of them you know, you can't point at any one of those and say, well, that's Rafael Rosado, because they're all you, but they're all different.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so
Well, that's part of the
that's, to me, that goes beyond talented. That's extremely talented, because
At a high level too.
yeah, because
Oh, keep talking. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Life with Louie, pretty high level, but
because they all look so incredibly different. So I mean, where's your head? I mean, what are you thinking when you start to create these images? What's the process? I mean,
Well, so, part of my skill set is being able to draw on all those different styles, because a lot of people in animation, I mean, they can do like cartoony stuff, like kid stuff or action adventure stuff. And I've been able to go back and forth between the two. And, I mean, that's just like, some of it's just being hungry and just wanting to keep working.
yeah. Can you do that? Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
You just figure it out.
Yeah.
never say no.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be working on 2 gigs at the same time. So I'll be drawing Transformers, the first part of the day, and the second part of the day I'm working on Curious George or something.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like,
Yeah,
you're saying you're working on the shows. Like, give me. I mean, I know it was different, but like, what's a day look like? I mean, what are you doing? Are you just sitting there drawing like slides?
Well,
or they
so-
say we need a new character, or what do you?
No, so what I do, so storyboarding, which is what I mostly do. I mean, sometimes I'll do some directing or character design or whatever, but
This is what you're doing back, as your
back
your
over
style.
there, yeah, and some directing and a lot of storyboarding. Basically, it's like I said, animation's like this sort of assembly line in a way, So storyboarding it's at the beginning of the process where you're basically visualizing the story.
What it looks like.
Yeah, you're coming up with the shots and the acting. So when I get an assignment, I'll get a script. Oftentimes I'll get a audio track, which is the recorded script with the actors, and they edit it.
Do they do that first most of the time?
Usually,
And then you draw to the recording.
Yeah. So as I'm going through the script, if I have a track, I can listen to the track and get a sense of what the acting's going to be like for the characters and stuff. So they send me that. They send me all the backgrounds, all the background designs, all the character designs, and they'll do turnarounds for all the characters, so you get to learn how to draw the characters and all these different angles and stuff. So I have all this material in front of me, and then so it's my job to basically be like a director, really, and just come up with the shots, the continuity, shot to shot continuity of the story, and put some style in there and some acting, and it's a lot. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of different balls you have to juggle.
Juggling a lot of balls. And with something like on the I'm gonna go with something that like I said, it just cracked me up, made me laugh, and it was just so out there. The Mike Tyson Mysteries on Cartoon Network. Did you meet Mike Tyson?
I didn't.
You didn't never got to meet Mike Tyson. All you had was the voice track and go from there. Or I mean,
but he was actually involved in the show.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, so you never got a chance to.
I never got a chance to meet him, but man,
I don't know if that enhanced. Meeting Mike Tyson would enhance your.
I'm sure it would have been
vision
pretty
of-
awesome.
with the.
And I do all due respect to Mike Tyson. Like, part of the charm of that is how terrible it is. Like his acting is.
Oh yeah, totally. And he's in on the joke too. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah. And at the very end of these shows, if you've ever seen him, they actually like show him sitting there.
Yep.
And he does like a.
And he's wearing the tracksuit.
Yeah.
That's like the uniform of the team.
Yeah, I know, but I kept watching. I couldn't get enough of it.
It's a great show.
I watched the
love
next
it.
one. The
And
next one.
I just love like the 15-minute format too. That's a whole nother conversation, but I love it.
They told me a funny story that so on shows they'll have different swag for the crew and stuff. Sometimes it's a shirt or jacket or whatever.
Right.
I think on the first season of Mike Tyson they had tattoo, like a temporary tattoo of that tattoo he has on his face.
Tattoo,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So some people did it, but it was more than temporary. Like it lasted for weeks.
Did you do it? Did you
no,
do it?
Man, no. They're walking around with this Mike Tyson.
That's hilarious.
Grumbling.
All right, so you're doing well. So you're doing well in Los Angeles. You know, you're making bank. You're working. You got good gigs.
Yeah.
You decided to come back to Columbus, Ohio. Why?
Well, I got married, and my wife had a hard time, with the pace of life in LA. I mean, it's
yeah. If you can get lost in the shuffle.
Absolutely. I mean, it could be really brutal if like I said. I mean, when I moved there, I had a gig. I had somewhere to go every day. It's not like I was hitting the pavement every day or whatever. And sometimes when I think of LA, I don't understand why people that don't want to be in the business move there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not a beautiful city. Once you get outside, it's gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah.
the mountains and the ocean, whatever. So it can be tough. But anyway, so we decided to move back, and I figured that with all the friendships and relationships I built over there, that I could come back here and just keep working from here. So in storyboarding was the one job that I knew I could do from here, because I was directing, I was doing some producing and stuff, but I knew that I could do the storyboards from Columbus. And I mean, other than some dry spots here and there, I mean, I've worked pretty continuously for over 20 years now.
And Columbus, you've raised your family here,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Columbus is a
Live in
good place.
Worthington,
it's-
beautiful
it's,
Worthington.
It's great to be able to do something, what you do, which is received on a national level, to be able to do it locally. I mean, that's great, where you don't have to be
Yeah.
in LA
Well,
or in New York City.
And obviously the cost of living is much
Way
better.
better.
Way better. You get
It's
a
like
lot
hidden
more bang for your
Columbus
buck.
thing,
Yeah.
man. I mean, I'm not from here originally, but I've never heard of this cartoon legacy out of Columbus.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Totally.
Yeah. No.
Well, and it's, we have the Billy Arlen Cartoon Library here at Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and there's some.
I mean, you mentioned Jeff Smith, the Bones.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of other big cartoonists that have come out of Ohio and Columbus. Like Milton Caniff,
Steve Canyon.
Steve Canyon,
Steve
Terry and the
Canyon,
Pirates.
yeah. There's a whole museum of Steve
Yeah.
Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, I read Steve Canyon in the comics, growing
In
up
the newspaper.
in the newspaper.
Well,
yes.
that's how the library got started, because he donated everything to, I forget what it was called back in the day, but that was the foundation of the library.
Correct me if did Milton Caniff also do Dondi?
No,
Who
man.
did Dondi?
That wasn't that a British?
Was that British?
strip? Yeah.
I don't know why I could associate Caniff with Dondi as well, but you corrected
That's
me.
some fever dream.
Yeah, I know. But let's there's two things I still want to get to before this is all said and done, and maybe this next subject also answers the question that I have: how much of you personally, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, how much of you goes into the stories and the artwork that you create?
Like the books, you mean? Like,
Well, let's talk about the book. This is the first one in a series of now 3.
Yeah.
This is Giants Beware. This is you and Jorge. I don't pronounce his last name for me.
Jorge Aguirre.
Okay. Yeah, I could never pronounce it like that.
And he's from Columbus.
He'd
too.
be very proud.
We went to film school. We all went to film school together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about film here at the end, but I want to talk
Yeah.
about this because you mentioned it earlier, and you immediately woke up. That's my baby. You
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
This is my baby. This is Giants Beware. This is about the adventures of Claudette, who wants to be a giant slayer.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And her friends that tag along: Gaston, a pastry chef, and the wannabe. I call her the
Marie.
wannabe princess.
Marie's
the
her-
aspiring
her best
princess,
friend,
as you
yeah.
say to it, Marie, and the adventures of them. But it's. I mean, you open up the first page. If you look this up, this is like for kindergarten through 8th
I was going
grade.
to ask what age.
Kindergarten through 8th grade. But if you look at the first page, it's the baby feet eating giant,
Yeah.
which is dark and disturbing right out of the gate,
Yep.
and yet it goes. Tell us about this. Why is this your baby,
Well-
and how did it come to be?
So, as a teenager and then in college and stuff.
Yeah.
The autograph.
Oh, wow.
This is an autograph copy. Thank
Well,
you.
that's a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Even through college and film school and stuff, I was always like doing comic book samples, to send to Marvel and DC and whatever. And I just kept trying. I just kept getting rejection letters, and my heart wasn't in it. But I always knew that I wanted to do comics at some point. But the timing actually worked out, because by the time I got around to doing this book, I felt like I had all these years behind me of experience and developing my own style and my own sense of story and taste and all that kind of stuff. And, and it's my own style, So the thing about these books is that, when I'm working on a show, you were talking about being able to draw in different styles. And that's part of the gig. I have to be able to draw Curious George like Curious George. I can't do my own version of Curious George or Batman or whatever, So, and, when I'm storyboarding, I'm working with the director and I get notes and this and that and changes. But when we do these books, it's all us, we're like our own bosses. Our editor was really hands-on most of the time, he trusted our story sense and all that. And I got to create the world. I got to design the characters.
And Jorge did all the dialogue, right? He wrote the storylines, or what?
Yeah, so we I came up with the original premise and the character, some of the character, most of the characters, and then so Jorge and I. Well, let me backtrack a little bit, because Jorge, he's one of my oldest friends. I've known him as long as I've known you.
Mm-hmm.
And so he went to film school, and he was mostly a writer. Although, he made films, but that was like his thing. And we worked on some projects together in school, and then out of school, I helped him out with some stuff too. And we just kept wanting to do a project together. We just kept wanting to have that collaboration continue. So when I came up with the idea for this, I brought it up to him, and I was like, "This is something you think you'd be interested in?" And he looked at us like, "Yeah. Let me take a look at it." So he went off, and based on the sketches and the premise, he came up with the bigger world and the larger story and the story arc. But then the way we do these books, we spend a lot of time working out the story together, from outline to full script and all that. And it's a real collaboration, it's like a real back and forth between the two. So it's not like I like to say it's our book, because really it's that tight of a collaboration.
It's your book, and the story's great, and there's 2 other books. So what's stopping this or preventing this from being like an animated feature of some sort?
Oh, believe me, we pitched it many times.
The book, you read the reviews on this book, and from Publishers Weekly on, the reviews, they're all rave reviews, and it seems, especially now, it seems right in the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Graphic novels are gaining in popularity regardless.
I know, but also the positive message too.
Well, no, I get what you're saying.
There's
young female
there's a real positive message.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In here as well.
Girl power.
And I guess that's when it goes back to my original question: how much of you goes into what inspired this particular
The
character?
the girl.
Yeah. It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I keep a sketchbook, and I'm always just doodling and coming up with characters out of my head. And that particular character, that little girl with the crazy hair and the round head.
Who's Claudette? I mean, Claudette came from somewhere.
Well, Claudette
I have
came.
to think so.
Somebody that you want to spend a lot of time with.
Yeah. So this little character, like her attitude and her kind of her personality was there, and I just kept drawing her in different scenarios. Some, as a little punk rocker or this or that. And then I think we were on a road trip to Hilton Head for vacation, and I had hours and hours of driving, and you know how your mind wanders. So on that road trip I came up with the idea of setting it in medieval times and this fantasy with the giant and all this stuff. And as soon as we got to the condo, I was like, I gotta write this stuff down, man. I was just on fire. So that was the beginning. It was almost like this character was just looking for a story, And so then once we figured that out, between Jorge and I, it just kind of like...
It flew.
It just flew. And to the point now where, I know her, I can hear her in my head, in a way. And so can Jorge. I mean, it's the greatest pleasure, getting to draw these characters and her. And like I said, we did 3 books, and but I've been doing these books while I'm still working in animation,
right?
And it's a lot of work.
It's your side hustle.
It's my side hustle,
if you can call this a side hustle.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And there's 3 of them. Like I said, there's Monsters Beware, and Dragons Beware. Will there be a 4th one?
Maybe in the
when
far
it comes?
future. Yeah, I mean, right now, Jorge and I are working on a young adult graphic novel, and it's actually one of 2 books for the same publisher. And the story takes place in Columbus, actually. It's called Call Me Iggy, and it's about this Colombian-American kid. Actually, his parents are from Colombia. He was born and raised in Columbus.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, right. So it's kind of, a lot of it is based on Jorge, which is, that's, he's Colombian American. And the story takes place before and after the 2016 election. So it's already like historical.
Yeah.
artifact,
without a doubt.
by the time it comes out. But yeah, so anyway, so the story, I'll try to give you the elevator pitch because it gets kind of complicated, but it's about this kid trying to find his identity, because he's never, as he was growing up, he never felt that sense of being a Latino and that sense of culture or whatever.
The culture got lost.
Yeah, because his parents wanted him to assimilate, So the story starts in the first day of freshman high school, and he ends up in Spanish class by mistake. He doesn't speak any Spanish, but everybody thinks he's gonna ace it. And this girl that he's had a crush on for a long time sits next to him, and she's in the class. He's like, "Oh man, now I gotta stay in Spanish," So through a series of events, that's a little convoluted. The ghost of his dead grandfather shows up. His Colombian grandfather, and it kind of turns into almost like a Cyrano de Bergerac thing. He's like, well, I can teach you Spanish if that's what you want, and you want to get this girl. I'll teach you Spanish.
Like a guy named Joe.
Yeah. But so it starts going really well. He starts studying with the girl. They got a thing going on. But eventually, the grandfather can only teach him so much because he's an illiterate farmer,
Mm-hmm.
And so his grades start, going down. And so he ends up asking this Mexican girl at the school, who's a DACA kid, and a dreamer. So anyway, so they make a deal. This isn't the elevator pitch. I just realized it's really
a really long elevator
I know,
ride,
man. It's really hard to.
Here we are, floor 108.
Because it's almost like 2 books in one. It starts out on one thing and turns into another. But what happens is the Mexican girl says to him, I'll teach you Spanish, but you have to help me work after school. He's like, yeah, sure. So he ends up cleaning offices with her and her parents. That's what they do for a living, And so over time he starts to appreciate what she has with her family, which is really different than what he has with his family. And on top of all this, there's a specter of what's going to happen during the election, Trump and all the shit he's talking about,
Right.
immigrants and all this stuff.
Which could affect their lives.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like real stakes for the girl. Anyway.
Yeah, high stakes all the way around.
Sounds like a bunch of left-wing propaganda to me.
That's right. So that's the story. But man, I've been working on this book for a long time.
So it's a passion project.
Well,
It is. It sounds like it. I mean, just from everything you're talking about.
yeah. It's just that it's a totally different style than these books. It's a little more realistic.
So if this is your baby, the project you're talking about now is your teenager.
Really hard to handle teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you were the driver for the first set of books, and Jorge's more the driver on the second.
Yeah.
Because it's
These-
more from his perspective.
And this and this project will be a graphic novel as
It
well.
will be a graphic novel as well, and there's two. So we're finishing up the first one, and then we just plotted out the second one. So we'll be jumping on that later this year too.
Okay.
And original.
Published? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, same publisher. Yeah.
Local publisher or no?
No, it's First Second Books, which is part of Macmillan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've walked into shops in California, and it's sitting right
And
there on the
there-
table.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Not
still
like
in
a
print.
zine.
No, it's
No,
legit.
this is the real
Yeah.
deal, man. This is incredible. So and while you gave us the very long elevator pitch, while it's going to be a graphic novel, that could also, you could have also been pitching a film, which brings me to my next set of questions.
Yeah.
You have a history with this guy that we never see. We only see his thumb on the YouTube videos. Every once in a while, we see John Whitney.
Yeah.
But John Whitney is a guy that I've been working with for the last few years. You worked with him in the good old bad old days. You guys have known each other since film school.
The late '80s, I believe, is the first
Yeah.
time we met. Probably '88, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You were in the grad school when I showed up. So
And I
were
want to
getting
talk,
your master's.
I want to talk about some of the stuff you guys have worked on together, because I think I accidentally worked on something with you both.
Accidentally.
Well, I was I think my credit was associate producer on a little film called Eroded.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which you were involved with as far as art direction.
Well, Eroded was funny because that was just some sketch I did.
Yeah. It was so I used to go hang out at his I guess house and his room where he had his drawing table, and I just
It's called a studio. It's studio.
And I was freelancing, and I didn't have anything to do, so I said, "Rob, I'm gonna come over, hang out." Okay, come on over. And then there's this drawing of this guy sitting on a park bench with a face sticking out of the ground, and I always saw it every time I was there. I was like, "Oh, what the fuck is this thing?" and you were like, "Oh, it's just a doodle."
So you tell me Eroded started with a doodle?
Basically, right? Something
Yeah,
like
just
a
this image
on the wall.
It's just this image that spoke to him.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And
But then I did storyboards on it.
Yeah, he did the storyboards on it. Yep.
Storyboards. He also is. You can see him in our little film, The Street Where We Live.
Yes,
Rafael plays the barista.
that's right.
Oh, that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, you forget about that little role. You forget about the little roles. No, he plays the barista.
It's
at
a
the
day
coffee shop.
player.
That's right. Day player. Rolf, what you doing? Come on over, man. What am I doing? You gonna? We'll figure it out.
What am I gonna be?
Get behind the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was.
an Uber driver.
We couldn't figure out an
Uh-huh.
Uber driver.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
All
at
right.
the time, I don't think Uber was as.
Yeah,
at
you're
that
right,
time,
okay.
at that time of
All right.
that period.
Yeah, we'll get you in as an Uber driver. We'll figure it out.
He so wants to be an Uber driver.
in the next movie.
The Street Where We Live, by the way, is available on DVD on Walmart.com and DeepDiscount.com and a couple of other places. We just found out it's out on DVD and nobody told us.
Yeah.
People still have DVD players?
It's been 2 years out, and then
Yeah.
But I also acted in a short film he did.
That's right. Solve for X.
Solve for X.
That's right. Which
Yes.
that'll make my heart hurt. But
Yes.
South for X was supposed to be a bigger project
Yeah.
for us. Down the
Oh,
line,
yeah, right,
Which
right,
is
right.
why we made Street Where We Live, because we got
Tired of waiting around, not
Tired of
making a
waiting
movie.
Yeah.
But and then I want to talk. What's am I pronouncing it right? Is it Chaos? The movie Chaos. There's on your IMDb page. There's a movie called Chaos on your IMDb page.
You can't trust IMDb
Chaos.
fully
You have
sometimes.
nothing to do with that one.
Yeah, what's it say?
What is
It's all
Chaos?
shot in Puerto Rico, and it's a.
Oh, that must be.
You want
Was
an
that
Oscar
a?
for
Oh,
it?
was that was the fucking porno you were on, man.
Damn it! I thought
And
that
I
was
was,
kind of.
and I asked about the reason I
stay
asked
on the
because
ropes.
I was looking at it on IMDb, and I'm looking at it, and it's all shot in Puerto Rico, and I'm like, okay, what's Rafael doing in this? I didn't see anything in there, but it's about the political uprising and a virus that gets in the water. And
I don't know.
it's,
Sounds cool. I'll
Yeah.
take credit for it.
all right, so
cool.
that's not yours.
I mean, it must be somebody else.
Okay, Chaos, congratulations.
Rafael Rosado, yeah.
Because it shows up on his IMDb page, you get a plug.
Get a free plug.
You get a free plug.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's spelled CAOS.
oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at it. I mean, the IMDb, I would say it's about 90% accurate. But there's some other stuff in there. I'm like, I didn't work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
how
There's
to
a
end
little
up
bit
there.
Wikipedia in it where you can people can add stuff that.
Oh, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can. Usually it's the producers that do all that stuff.
So, do you like making films?
Yeah, man.
I mean, could you step away from just this, everything animated, and leave this type of art away to go ahead and work with real people?
yeah, man. That's a tough question. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, to me, making
Because
these
real
books,
people suck.
yeah,
Yeah, they're very difficult.
but
We're very difficult to deal with.
you know, when I make these books, to me, they're like making a film.
right?
You know, I mean, the scale of it, the scope. You know, we structure them like a film. You know, 3 acts. And we do. You know, there's all kinds of character development. We're creating a world. It takes a long time to make, just
Right.
like a film. So to me, even though I'm making films on paper in a way. You know, and this new book I'm working on, when you read it, it reads like a film too. You know, so.
So don't you want these to be films?
Oh, totally. Well, like I was gonna say, so you know,
you said you've pitched this.
yeah, we have an agent out, you know, who's pitched these books from the get go, and we've come close actually to getting deals out of it, but at the beginning, you know, like that movie Brave, that Pixar movie had just come out. They were like, she's a redhead. Oh, we already have a redhead.
We already got that. Are you kidding me? They
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
said that this has been done.
Yeah. DreamWorks was like, we love it, but we already have something with giants in development. Fox was really interested at one point, like really, really, like almost, you know, close to signing a deal, but then they realized that it was still too young of a project. Like they like to make movies that hit like a wider demographic.
This is girl power to the
I
10th
know,
degree.
man. I mean, we still have hope that it's gonna get made
Because
someday. You know?
my boy's 9 and my daughter's 7, and I want to go buy it for him. Like I think they both would dig it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's well, and the cool thing about it, it's so Claudette. A lot of kids read the book and they don't even realize it's a girl till they're deep into the book.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nothing. The only thing that gives it away is a little piggy tail thing. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, she doesn't. It's like the whole idea of these books. It's like taking that fantasy story, taking those tropes and just flipping them. You know. So the heroine is a girl. Marie, who's the princess, she actually wants to be a diplomat more than anything else, and she's like an intellect. And her little brother Gaston, he just wants to be like the best baker pastry chef in the world.
Keep forgetting about the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, the dog Valiant. Yeah.
Is the dog
the little pug who's based on a pug? I
was gonna say, is a dog based on? If you're gonna draw a dog, it's got to be based on a dog that's been in your life.
A little pug Oliver we had for a few years. But yeah, so I think a lot of the success, with this book, like critically and stuff, was that idea that we were just taking these tropes and flipping them and making it a positive thing, with these characters.
No, you did a great job with it. Let me ask you this: you've had incredible success. You've had like you said, you've had limited amounts of downtime where there wasn't any work, and you've done a lot of great work. Just like I said, I can go through the credits for 5 minutes and say everything you've done. What is it that you still want to do when you see these huge animated success films, the Pixars, the Disneys, that go on and to some actually getting nominated for Academy Awards?
Yeah.
Before it's all said and done. Where do you want to go? What is it that you still want to do? What's still left, or are you content with where you're at right now? And that's fine too.
Well, I'm content to an extent, but I mean, as an artist, you always have to keep growing and like moving forward, right? I mean, I imagine that's the same with you guys.
Right. I keep saying I still have one more chapter.
Oh yeah, totally.
One more creative chapter to write before it's all said and done. Which I better freaking hurry up because it's not getting any younger.
But honestly, my ultimate goal would be to just do this stuff full time, and just animation's awesome, and I'm in a union. It's fantastic, great benefits, and it's amazing. And I have a family, so in a way, I'm still in animation because I have to make sure I'm providing for my family and keep our health insurance going and stuff.
Could be worse.
No. I'm not complaining. Yeah. And trust me, listen, anytime I find myself complaining about such a long day, blah blah blah, I always think I'm like, shut up! You're so lucky to be doing this.
Yeah, you're not digging
factory.
I'm not digging ditches.
You're not digging ditches. Nothing wrong with digging ditches. If that's
absolutely.
what you do for a living, God bless you. Somebody's got to dig them.
But trust me, I realize how lucky I am to be doing what I'm doing, and for as long as I've been doing it. But I know that there's this other career that I'll transition to eventually, which is just doing books full time. Graphic novels and picture books and that kind of thing. And I can do that till I drop.
Right.
A graphic novel I would love to see you do?
What?
The Goombas.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
The Goombas.
Yeah.
Was this an idea that's been
there's sketches. I have a couple of pieces of art that's based on the Goombas.
It's these characters I was drawing for years. They're like just tough guys. And they kind of look like Dick Tracy villains, like
Right.
just really
they're
like...
cool. I got one of them in my house.
Cubist kind of features. Actually, I've been thinking about selling NFTs of the
those,
like a whole.
I don't know what it is, but you'll make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
NFTs are hot right now.
I'm looking.
I saw Justin Bieber just
bought
bought
one
one
for like $1 million.
$1,000,000.
Yeah, man. I'm doing my research, and it's there's a lot of pluses and minuses about NFTs, but I'm like, hey man, if I make enough money to pay off my debts and send my kids to college.
I'm with Hansberry. I don't completely understand the whole concept.
It's very complicated.
NFT.
Trust me, it's you get a headache just trying to understand it.
But at the same time, that there's something lucrative in it.
Yeah, I actually know a couple of guys in town that are selling NFTs, art and making decent money doing it.
Educate us all. What's an NFT?
Oh man.
I know that they're popular, and I know that
it's like a digital file.
It is
most part, but
but
it's encrypted, right? So
it's encrypted. Yeah,
it's
NFTs.
encrypted, and I always wondered, like, how is somebody making $1 million over something that I've seen 1,000 times.
Yeah,
already.
that part of it is still kind of nebulous to me. NFT stands for non-fungible token, right? So it's like each one of these pieces has a digital signature that's unique to it. And what the hell's it called? The blockchain is what contains these.
So it's in the
These
crypto
codes.
world of some sort.
Well, yeah.
When he starts talking
So
blockchains.
I know, man. So
and-
each piece has its own unique code that can be tracked. You know what I mean? So
Like it's a serial number.
like it's a serial number.
Yeah. But then what do you do with it? You just
So
have
if
it
I
on
buy
a thumb drive and you have it?
if I'm Justin Bieber and I buy something for $1 million,
Yeah.
and
Look,
I,
man,
and I decide I want to.
I'm as
What-
confused.
now what do I do
I'm
with
as
it?
confused as you are about.
So I think
I
we
mean,
got it. I
good
just
for the
don't think
guy
there's
that-
anything
good
to
for the guy that
understand.
sold
I know,
it for
I
$1
don't
million.
know.
Then you just have like this picture that.
And how do I
belongs to you.
create an NFT and sell one for $1 million?
Look, there's this guy. Last year, this illustrator people who his stuff was pretty cool, but he sold his whole collection of NFT, which are just digital illustrations, for like something like $60 million at Christie's or something. Yeah.
What the who the
Yeah.
Let's start whiskey business NFTs.
what the I
Hey, listen.
I don't know what
I don't either,
I
but
don't
we'll
know
take
what
$1
it
million
is.
for it.
Raphael,
That should be your next guest.
make us an NFT.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
a
give
crypto guy.
us
you
the
know.
guy's info.
No, you kidding me? That would my brain would explode. I still don't understand cryptocurrency.
I'm telling you, man.
I know that Matt Damon says that I should get it, and I know that
Oh,
Tom
yeah,
Brady
Matt
says that I should get it. And
Those guys are both doing all right.
they're both-
Get Dogecoin.
Yeah, I still don't get it, and I still don't understand the NFT. But if I can make one and sell one for $1 million, I want to do it.
Yeah.
What would
I mean,
what would
the-
a business NFT be?
Exactly.
The one thing that's it's
It's not
it's
an answer.
it's environmentally evil because in order to keep the blockchain going, you need these servers all over the world, basically constantly
Like
running.
ledgers type of league.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But
because
still.
because it's like that code doesn't exist in one place. It's so these so these servers, these computers are
So if there's
constantly
like an
running.
apocalypse and everything goes out,
you're broke. If you're counting on your cryptocurrency, you're
screwed.
Yeah. But
just cash out before Terminator
Yeah,
apocalypse.
yeah,
happens.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep watching those was it Boston Dynamics or whatever that makes those robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an article where they were talking about if you put $1,000 into crypto, in 2011,
Yeah.
it'd be worth $66 million right now.
Really?
Yeah.
And even though I hear that the people who are investing in cryptocurrency now, they're losing their ass because they,
Yeah, but you're talking about 15, 16 years ago
What are you talking about? 16
from the
years ago?
ground.
So
I mean, it's just
you're
like
telling me
stock
this,
exchange.
that-
It goes up and down.
so cryptocurrency was available.
But like 15 years ago or something. It started about 15 years ago. Yeah.
Nobody knew what it was. It's
No.
like Twitter when it first started. You're like, you what?
Yeah, that's
just
why
put
you
a
read,
sentence
you
on
hear
the
about
back?
those guys trying to dig up an old hard drive in the city dump
Yep.
because they're like, oh my god.
Because it's on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's still early enough that you could still do okay,
With it within the NFT world.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll let you know. Bring me back in a year or something.
I
I'll let
saw
you know.
Disney's first one was The Simpsons, actually NFT, and it's
Oh,
already
really?
going for a shit ton.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
but Disney started. One of Disney's first ones.
It's. I
wasn't
mean,
Mickey. It was Homer.
yeah. I mean, I try my best to explain it, and it's still.
No, it's okay.
Doesn't make any much
It's
sense
going to
to
be
me.
lost on me because NFT right now stands for no fucking time.
That's right.
I know. I can't figure it out. I'm lost.
Yeah.
NFTs and cryptocurrency. I like stuff I can
Yeah.
hold on to.
Exactly.
And
I like art that I can put on my wall.
Right. Well, man, this has been interesting, fascinating, and I'm glad we got some time to spend with you finally and talk about all this stuff. I mean, the continued success.
Thank you.
And with it, whatever project comes up next, I know it's going to have your own personal stamp on it.
Well, right now I'm working.
Can you draw me into the next one, please? Just the tall, weird guy in the corner. Or
Oh, I
something
can
like
do that very
All right,
easily.
Wearing a Bengals jersey.
I just finished working on Animaniacs, and I actually worked on the original Animaniacs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite childhood cartoons.
They were great.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot to redoing it. Right.
Yeah. So I just finished working on the reboot and the third season of it. So that was cool working on a show that I worked on.
Before?
Yeah, that's nice. Same producers that
20
called you
years
back?
ago. No, hardly anybody from the original.
Oh, wow.
Or wait, so they're already in season 3 of the new reboot?
On Hulu, they just premiered season 2. So season 3.
I'm behind.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
watch it with my kids.
But it's great. It's just as good as the original,
kooky,
in my opinion.
funny. Yeah, they did the instead of the was it the Good Feathers?
Yeah,
the
Good
Good
Feathers.
Feathers, where
The
they're
Good Feathers.
pigeons
Yep.
doing
Godfathers.
Yeah, doing the Godfathers.
And I got
The
to write a
Goodfellas
couple
stuff.
episodes on it too.
Oh, did you really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
What a great show.
Because at the time,
Do you like your writing as much as you do your artwork?
well, I want to say,
Are you in the Writers
writing.
Guild? Or no?
but so back at the time when I was at Warner Brothers, like nowadays, if you're at a studio, you'll work on a project for 8-9 months, and if there's nothing coming up, they'll lay you off. But back then, if you were out at the studio, they'd keep you around, during the hiatus until we got the green light or do whatever. So we were working on Animaniacs, and then we were on a hiatus, and the producers were like, "Why don't you guys come up with ideas and story? If we like them, we'll make them." We're like, "All right." So I just started writing all this stuff, and so they picked 2 of my ideas. One was where Wacko, the crazy one, he gets the hiccups.
There's actually a crazy
Oh, they're all-
one in
they're all
Animaniacs.
crazy.
Aren't they all
They're all
crazy?
zany.
Or he's the
Yeah.
craziest
He's
one?
the craziest one.
I forget they explain it in the song.
They do,
but I forget
They
which
do,
one.
yeah. So Walker gets the hiccups, and they keep trying all these different, methods and cures, and nothing works. So they go around the world trying to find a cure. That's the premise, And then the other one I wrote was, there was that character Chicken Boo. I don't know if you remember Chicken Boo.
It was like a western,
No, Chicken Boo was like this giant chicken.
but it wouldn't like maybe yeah, okay. But he never talked.
He never
and
talked.
Yeah,
He never
okay,
talked.
okay.
So
I'm
it was
vaguely remembering all. It's all coming back. My childhood is pouring
right.
back.
so it was Chicken Boo as Forrest Gump, basically.
Okay.
So we do the whole
get it.
the whole Forrest Gump, the whole story.
Oh man, that's funny.
And I actually have a cameo in that one.
You had to draw yourself?
No, the guy who's our character designer on our crew did a caricature of me one day just for fun. you
Which apparently you don't know how to do.
know? I don't.
You can't do
Well,
a
he really
caricature.
captured me, man. It was incredible. so I end up in the episode as a hippie. There's that scene. You remember in Forrest Gump where they're in the reflecting pool,
Right.
at the Lincoln Memorial, and there's Chicken Boo, and so I just have this just one line where it wasn't even me saying the line, but it's my caricature as a hippie. He's like, "Hey man, he's a chicken,"
You all get this off, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
anyway,
pumped. I'm excited. I'm gonna go watch Animaniacs.
go watch
tomorrow.
it. They're on
I'm tired of
Hulu,
watching
man.
The same shit
Nice.
with kids over and over again.
All right, before we go, how do we? Well, I granted, I gave it a head start before anybody got here. The Tennessee Jack Daniel's
Very good, very good.
Rested Rye, the Rested Tennessee Rye. You guys like this?
Yes.
yeah, I like it. It's really
It mellowed out after.
Would
after
you
the
say?
ice melted.
Did you think it needed to mellow out?
No, I
didn't
got right
think-
away. I thought it was
mellow
smooth.
from the
smooth
get-go.
right out of the gate.
Yeah, I wasn't unbearable, but I could tell it was a young, spicy.
You've had
Juice.
so many far more potent ryes on this.
I
on
didn't
this
say it was
podcast.
bad. I could just. I blindly tasted it thinking that it was going to be a sweet bourbon, so I was kind of caught
Oh,
off
so
guard.
the rye caught you off
Yeah,
guard.
but then after the ice melted, I mean, I liked it to begin with, but it went down really quick
And
after
then
that.
Whitney just grabbed the
And then,
bottle off
yeah,
the Tower of Power. And this is,
Uh,
yeah. Don't kill this one all.
Yeah, I was
don't,
wondering if
don't
that's a
finish-
special.
This
he,
is. This
he
is,
pointed at it.
Huh?
Nothing.
he just said you could have. This is the Four
Like, we can
Roses
keep going with
single barrel strength.
After
This
the
was,
recording's over, we can keep pretending.
I-
Episode 2.
No, I picked this up down in South Carolina.
It's really good. Thanks.
Yeah, you like this one?
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll put it back for you. It's
Yeah,
just
put
so
that
that-
one back.
yeah.
I want to save
But it's
some
got
of
that
one.
Four Roses.
Give 'em a little taste. Give our guests a little taste.
Just a little
It's good.
taste.
Yeah.
It definitely has a Four Roses. It tastes like Four Roses.
Yeah. There's some fuller bottles of Four Roses that if you really like.
So all right. So in the future, Dino's if you're watching on YouTube, he's rearranged
I
the
rearranged
bar.
the room a little bit to give us a little more because I felt
Yeah.
closed in.
Yeah, it's nice.
By all the booze, and now what I've done, every winter I get a little nesty, and I start I gotta move shit around, and I took books from downstairs right there with the shot you see there. That was all liquor before,
Yeah.
and now that's moved over there, and a lot of the bottles have moved downstairs, and books that were downstairs have moved upstairs, and you gotta admit it's a little more.
Yeah, it's roomier.
A little more elbow room.
We're not tripping over each other.
John, you need to do
Yeah.
an insert, man. About that.
But now we know.
Yeah, I can.
Just when we need a little splash, don't take from the tower. of
No, you
power.
can take from the Tower of Power. Just let me know what just don't point aimlessly.
Well, I just said one of those. Yeah, one of those. See that one with the Rip Van Winkle?
yeah.
Never had that before.
It's up on top there with the Thomas Handy Sazerac Rye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I opened that up a few years ago, and
Elmer T. Lee.
Elmer T. Lee.
My favorite.
Hideki. What's it called?
I
Hideki.
think it's Hideki. Yeah, the Japanese whiskey. We'll have
He was
that.
like a left fielder for the Hideki.
Yeah, there's a lot of good bottles. You obviously like bourbon, Raphael.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I'm more of a beer guy. You know,
well, anytime I've hung out with you on Whitney's porch, you were drinking bourbon.
I come over here. What am I going?
When
to
in
you know,
Rome,
Yeah,
you know?
when
yeah,
in Rome,
exactly, right.
exactly. Actually, I like rice because there's one that you introduced me to years ago when I was here.
Yeah.
At one of your parties. I can't remember for the life of me what the hell it was, but I've bought
like
it since.
rye.
Yeah.
I love rye. I almost sometimes like rye more than I do bourbon.
Yeah.
It's nice to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have as much of a bite usually, right?
The rye?
the rye.
No, some people think rye, that's why some people don't like rye because
Oh,
they think
really?
it has too much of a bite.
Yeah.
Oh,
I taste rye on my tongue a lot more, like it sizzles a little bit, which is nice.
all
We
right.
call that the
Yeah.
Kentucky Kiss.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
And when you're 189 bottles in on a podcast, you start to
Wow.
We got to publish the list again. So
the postal.
If you stacked up those bottles that go up to the
It's so
top of the
sad.
Levec
to the
Tower.
moon.
Well, no, but it's so Karina Nova, who was on last week, made fun of my list because it's handwritten.
2 full pages.
Oh wow.
Maybe if you let me borrow it one time, I'll type it out and just make it a list.
Didn't we take a picture of this once? And
Yeah,
post
yeah,
it
yeah, I did.
Online, I mean,
But it was only 2 sides at the time because
That looks like the Unabomber, right?
I mean, we're only
Manifesto, right?
it does look like a
we're a
manifesto.
couple months away from bottle
I
200.
don't know what the 200 bottle is going to be. You know what?
It should be your bottle.
It maybe. Well,
Yeah.
Can't
wait
it's
that
not
long.
so
Come
far
on.
away. Okay. All right.
Why? I think we either go like crazy, like uber rare, or just like find the shittiest.
No, I
swill
think
we can
I was
find.
thinking go the other way. The shittiest.
Yeah, the just shittiest.
You know,
like
some
can't
bottom
even
shelf
finish
our
it.
100th
bullshit.
bottle,
Yeah.
I think was. I think our 100th bottle was something was one of the Van Winkles. wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, I think we did that.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think we did 10-year or 12-year.
and one of the other. Well, no. So
Let's buy the cheapest shit we can find and mix it all together. Make our own blend.
Go to UDF. Well, they won't.
The infinity bottle.
Well, no. My
200th
first
bottle.
Infinity bottle turned out well. My second Infinity bottle, I'm not that crazy about. You know what an Infinity bottle is?
No, I don't.
That's when you have like the last remnants of a bottle. You know, like half an ounce or even less than that, and you just pour it into a community bottle, and then when you get another bottle that's got to be poured in there.
Oh,
And
so it's
then,
like backwash.
So it's not even
Except,
No.
I mean, but not really.
No,
But,
not quite enough for a
you
pour.
Let them sit and marry, and then you see what you get. And the first
Oh.
one turned out rather tasty, and the second one is okay. It's palatable, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
I haven't had much success with my infinity bottles lately.
I
just keep
because I get.
Oh, fuck it, I just
anxious,
start-
I drink them before I can fill it up.
Yeah.
You know, I only have like that much in. I'm like, man, it's good enough.
In the infinity bottle? No, man, you gotta.
I don't
be-
have. I'm not
You
patient
gotta,
enough.
put the
No,
fill the infinity
no.
bottle and hide it.
Do you have a special bottle for the infinity bottles?
Yeah, it's in the other room. See, that way I don't. That.
And
Well,
that
you know
one-
what? What the hell? I'll let you taste this current.
Oh man, really? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Is the podcast over with?
No, it's not.
That's an
I stopped
extended.
recording 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
you
man.
did?
No.
It's the extended edition.
So that's the infinity bottle.
This is the second infinity bottle.
That's a
I gotta finish this first.
beautiful decanter. Is that right?
Yeah.
The whiskey business decanter.
The whiskey business decanter. Yeah. Go ahead, man. Pour a little bit.
Really?
You have to drink it neat, so that way you can really taste it. That's just my.
Just a splash.
That's what I'm saying because I'm too lazy to go get more ice. So go ahead, pour a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm still working on
Let's
the
do it. Let's do a toast.
All right.
We'll do
Blow
it.
toast and wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I love about podcasts. Who cares how fucking long they go?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And in my head, I'm already thinking, what am I going to cut out? What am I going to
No,
cut
this is
out?
only an hour and 20. We've had longer ones.
That's
There's
what
this
I
podcast.
was doing
Need
so
each
well.
other.
I was doing so
Well,
well. without-
Greg needs to do some
without-
housekeeping before we toast.
I know.
it.
Yeah.
Before
Well,
we
no,
toast?
you want to do the housekeeping before we toast?
Yeah, because the toast is always good for the last thing, right?
Housekeeping.
You're such a good director. John Whitney, such a good director. All right, do the housekeeping.
Trying to keep you on
first.
task there, dude.
Do the housekeeping first, and then we'll wrap it up.
whiskeybusinesspod.com. That's our website for everything, including archived episodes where you can find the episode where we do our watershed tasting and our barrel selection. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. You can find some of your writing, some of John's
I need to
videos.
write. I need to write some more stuff. I need to put some stuff up there. I haven't done that.
But
in a while.
videos too.
Whiskey wisdoms.
Whiskey
that
wisdoms
John
are up
does.
there.
And maybe we could put a link to some of your stuff, Rafael, in this episode. if
Yeah.
you
Do you have a website?
I'm on Instagram, but actually, I'm part of the Columbus Makes Art campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a page on their website, and there's a commercial that they shot with me in my studio and stuff.
Well, that's cool.
So that's all there.
Okay.
So-
So what's it? ColumbusMakesArt.com, right?
Columbus Makes Art or Art Makes Columbus. I think you can do that one.
Okay. There you
And
go.
then, yeah.
And what's your Instagram handle?
No,
I
I
don't
think
know
it's
mine.
I think Rafael _614. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think.
we'll try to tag you.
Oh,
on
or just search Rafael Rosado.
It'll come
It'll
up.
pop up.
Yeah, fine.
But we are on Instagram, Whiskey Business on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. See all of John's amazing film working.
Yeah,
film
our
work.
most recent YouTube is our episode with Karina Nova,
Yep.
which a lot of people are checking out.
Go see
I
that.
just saw a picture of her on Instagram out in her new job in San Francisco.
Yeah.
She took a picture in front of the big ABC
That's awesome.
sign out there. So best of luck to Karina.
That's it. And evergreenpodcasts.com. That's
Yep.
our network we belong to. Thank you guys for them. Yeah, check them out. And they've got a ton of podcasts from everything from kids stuff to true crime. So
They cover the bases.
It's pretty
They're-
cool.
They are
Sit
truly.
through what they got.
Our guests range from A to Z. Their podcasts range
good
from
point.
A to Z. So yeah, they're great, and we always appreciate the fact that they're still keeping us in the family.
Yeah, they
So,
haven't kicked us out.
Rafael, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
A pleasure,
Glad I
sir.
could finally make it.
Yeah,
Yes.
man, I'm glad it all worked out. Let's. This is the. I make no promises about
All right,
this. You
all
don't
right.
have to shoot it. You can just sip
All
it.
right, I'll just sip it.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not as good as the first one.
It's not quite as smooth as the first.
Still have room to add more though.
It's not as horrible as you made it sound.
It's not as horrible.
What?
You still have a little room to add more to it. You know?
No. This was full.
Oh, that one's
okay.
done. That one's done.
This was full. I would not have uncorked it until
Okay.
it married
All right.
for a while. No.
All right.
No.
All right, then.
There's another one that I'm working on.
In a closet
It
somewhere.
would have been nice to put a little bit of this in there, but
Oh well.
look who I'm working with.
Yeah. It's true.
So,
Can't win. You drink it, you don't drink it.
you don't drink it. On behalf of Greg Hansberry on the audio side, John Whitney there's the classic thumb. John Whitney on the video side. Our guest Rafael Rosado. Look him up and check out his work, and you've already enjoyed his work. Trust me, if you watch anything that's animated, you've seen his work. And also, people can get this is available on Amazon.com,
Yep.
right? Right, and then in other bookstores as well.
They can go to Barnes & Noble. They can go to Life and Ogre comic
Right.
book store.
And there's 3 of them. So
Wexner
the-
Center. They have it's
Yeah,
sometime.
monsters beware, dragons beware, and who knows what the. I jokingly said Trumpers beware.
Yeah.
That would be
But-
awesome.
There'll be more someday. You know.
Yeah.
Zombies seems like a
Yeah,
natural.
you're running out of
Yeah.
creatures.
Vampires, zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
That
seems to
actually
be
be awesome.
X's.
Maybe we were done. Yeah.
And my name, by the way, I'm your host, Dino Tripodis. And until the next bottle, see ya.